All right, welcome back. So I took a much needed break from producing content on this channel. As I've mentioned before, sometimes this content, it gets to me. At the end of the day, I'm dealing with report after report after report of child sacrifice. This is real life stuff where people are welcoming the mutilation of youngsters. So it's extremely inhumane. This is inhumane content, no matter how you slice it. And I've never been really mindful of it. It only it first dawned on me after I had already covered a bunch of cases. It's after I started, feeling depressed about it. It's like, oh, it's this content that I keep dealing with. It's depressing. It upsets me. It genuinely infuriates me that adults refuse to remove such a threat, and they are willing to allow these things to happen. Permanent mutilation, and sometimes they're unalived. It's mind-blowing that so many adults are okay with this and actually create this type of lethal environment for their youngsters, and they're okay with this. They're that inhumane. Just dealing with inhumane people like that constantly, it depresses you. And sometimes I need to break away and sadly ignore that whole aspect of society. And I basically have to appreciate people. Because when I come back, I feel so much better. I need to be a normal human. I think the norm for human beings, we're designed to spend most of our time appreciating each other, appreciating each other's storytelling abilities, singing, dancing, whatever talents that we have. Because, we are the most advanced creatures on this planet, and we're able to identify and appreciate and possess different talents. I believe the majority of our time we're designed to be spent, and I'm saying for our heart health, for our mental health, our neurological health, and everything. Our natural state, we're supposed to spend the majority of our time appreciating each other and doing constructive things. Tackling issues that are serious problems that other people, sort of ignore. But when it comes to dog culture, it is extra depressing because the results is mutilated people. Now, when the victims are adults, generally they bring that upon themselves. You get a dog lover here, a dog lover there. You're an adult. You made the decision to go over to your buddy's house. You knew they had a dog. You loved the dog. You rub on that worthless mutt every time you go over there. You know better. You control every environment that you're in, whether it be at home or whether it be somewhere else. Youngsters don't control their own environment. That's where it's injustice. That's injustice. That's what makes it criminal. And that's exactly why the law created the child endangerment laws. They acknowledge the same thing, that it's a crime to knowingly and actively create a lethal, dangerous environment for youngsters to dwell in. But when it comes to these worthless, no good, inbred mutts, it's okay. And not only is it okay, they blame the victim. Even if it's a youngster, even if it's no matter how young they are, they fixed it into the laws to blame the victims. Now, there is a narrative that has always annoyed me, and it has annoyed all dog culture critics that I've come across. That narrative is that when a dog attacks someone, then it's the owner's fault. No matter what, the owner is to blame. That is a seriously problematic narrative.
I am a dog lover and a dog owner, but if my dogs attack somebody who did nothing wrong, who wasn't trespassing, who wasn't tormenting them, who wasn't committing some assault on somebody, if they just, some person's walking by, minding their own business, some kids playing out in the street or whatever, and my dog attacks them, that is my responsibility and should be my responsibility. And this decision that we just got makes that abundantly clear.
Now, did y'all read the thumbnail? Sometimes, for whatever reason, my thumbnail is, unable to be seen. I don't know why YouTube does that sometimes, but hopefully y'all are able to see it and you're able to read it. And I know y'all are familiar with this narrative. It's the owner's fault. They didn't train the dog properly, right? They didn't socialize the dog. With this recent case, there are people in the comment section saying that exact same thing when it comes to this 9-year-old who was attacked. Now, there's some graphic images that they show on this video. That's why I demonetized this video. And I'm kind of worried about, I don't really want to play it because there are some gruesome images here. Yeah, this man has had his ear bitten off. Okay, we might play some of the safe parts. There's some stuff here that I want to hear. But here in the comment section, is it this one? No, it's a different one. You had yet another dog lover. I'm sure there's many more. Oh, it's the owner's fault. That needs to stop, and that needs to stop right now. Because like I said in the thumbnail, that narrative suggests that to fix the problem does not require the removal of the dogs. And it implies that, hey, there's no reason to remove dogs from this apartment complex. Here you are a tenant or whatever, and you got to deal every month with people being attacked by dogs. What on earth makes you think that the solution is not to remove the dogs? It is to do what? Somehow, magically, make the owner a so-called good owner? That's when they get into this tap dancing that I'm not into at all. Now, fingers crossed, hopefully they won't disable my comment section for this, but there's no discretion advised on any of these videos. But this is the case of the 9-year-old in Alabama who got attacked here recently.
It didn't hurt, I just felt it.
A 9-year-old girl surviving a brutal dog attack right outside her home. Now the Hansel family wants justice.
As we reported recently, this isn't the first dog attack here in central Alabama. We've been tracking these attacks and know at least 9 of them have happened in our viewing area this year. Now, out of the 9, 6 of those attacks were fatal.
The brutal incidents have caused some local governments to take action. In September, the Walker County Commission approved a rule allowing law enforcement to fine residents who don't keep their dogs on their own property.
And that came after a man was nearly mauled to death over the summer. And then in October...
What kind of nonsense is that? How worthless is that? To reduce dog attacks, you want to target people who don't keep their dogs on their own property. You know how small a percentage that makes up? That means that's next to nothing. You're doing nothing.
The commission approved a rule allowing law enforcement to fine residents who don't keep their dogs on their own property.
And that came after a man was nearly mauled to death over the summer. And then in October, Birmingham city leaders held an animal control town hall. City council president Darrell O'Quinn at the time said that the city gets more 311 calls about stray animals than anything else.
He said council members are planning to consider code changes at some point. But the latest dog attack happened in Coleman County last week.
WVTM 13's Lisa Crane spoke to the young victim and her mother today. We want to warn you that the images of her injuries are graphic and disturbing.
The dog was walking down the steps and he bit me in the face and started shaking his head.
9-year-old Delilah McKay is being very brave after a dog attack left her bloodied and bruised. These are photos of the emergency responders at the scene. Her injury so serious, her mother says she was airlifted to Children's of Alabama, where doctors took these photos. The attack happened here at these Hansville apartments last week. McKay tells me that Delilah was sitting here on the steps with her older sister just a few steps down when a child brought out a dog on a leash from an apartment up here, was walking the dog down the stairs. When it got to Delilah, they say it attacked.
Of course. Of course. So again, there's nothing to investigate. Nothing at all. But yet, they say that, investigations are ongoing. I want to find that comment that I was talking. I believe it's on this video right here. Because there are only 2 of them. I cannot stand when they say this. They go on about that nonsense. About how it's the owner's fault. Get out of here. Look at this. Look at this. The mutt was on a leash. The mutt has no history of prior attacks. What could possibly be done since these are the rules? The mother says people knew the mutt was aggressive, whatever that means. See, here's the problem I have. These people say that if you're a responsible owner, you're supposed to keep the dog on a leash. It was on a leash, and it's still attacked. Now what? It's still not the owner's fault? You want to lean on this nonsense about how the owner is supposed to train the dog. How do you know it's not trained? There's no way to know whether or not it's trained. This is a bunch of tap dancing. They just want to avoid entertaining the idea of removing the dogs, saying no dogs allowed. When you're talking about apartment complexes, there's no way you could argue that the dog is not socialized. Apartment complexes are concentrations of people. Every time that worthless mutt steps outside, it sees people, interacts with people every single day. I want to hear there is no excuse based on their own rhetoric. Oh, what more can you do? Socializing the dog is their number one thing. Make sure it's socialized. Make sure it's socialized. It is socialized and it's still aggressive. Now what? They never have a solution because the only solution is to remove them. Remove them. This is why some apartment complexes say no dogs allowed. That's something that needs to be studied right there. There's a reason why some of them say no dogs allowed. There's a reason why many of them put restrictions and say no dogs over 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, or whatever. They're trying to reduce the chances that you have a bully breed, a large, dangerous mutt. Anything that requires training to not attack people is too dangerous to be in society. I've been saying that same thing for years. It's unnatural, as a matter of fact, and it's not a pet. If there's any type of animal that shouldn't be considered as a pet, it's one like that. One that's, first of all, it's lethal, okay? It has lethal capabilities. It has a brain of its own. It's lethal, and it has a natural desire to attack. I don't want to hear nothing about training a creature like that. That's an insult. That's really a insult to your intelligence to suggest training as a solution for a creature like that. Something that has a natural bloodlust, has a natural instinct to want to attack, not only want to attack, but to get off on the attack and not want to cease the attack. No, we're not even going to have a discussion about whether or not that should be a pet. Those are not pets.
You can still see the bloodstains on the stairs.
They finally got it off, and I guess the dog bit her, the girl that lives with the dog, and got away again. So when she was face down, that's when the picture I showed you of the big hole in her bottom, that's when he came back and got her again.
That's when the dog put a gaping hole in Delilah's buttock. She has dozens of stitches and more healing and doctor's visits ahead.
Yeah, you think I want to take the chance of something like this happening? These dog owners create chaos. That's what it boils down to. They create chaotic environments, dangerous, lethal environments. That's why they're so unwanted and so problematic in society. You are not the friendly, happy neighbors that you project yourselves to be. You are a nuisance. You are a source of problems.
Mom says she wants someone to be held accountable for what happened.
I've barely been able to eat for days. I'm so mad that nothing's happened yet. We're not going to let it go. We'll just keep on and keep on. Somebody's going to do something.
Enhanced Felisa Crane, WVTM 13.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. How many of y'all seen this? Speaking of apartment complexes.
Now to this series of vicious dog attacks. It has some pet owners in Brooklyn too afraid to even leave their homes.
They tell us pit bulls mauled small dogs in their neighborhood in Coney Island on 3 different occasions, killing one of them. The latest attack happened Sunday.
Eyewitness News anchor Michelle Charlesworth talks to the outraged dog owners and tell us what the building management has to say.
Don't let them back in here!
Screaming, traumatized Diane huddled in her building on Sunday, protecting her 3-year-old Calypso, whose head, she said, had been in the mouth of one of the pit bulls.
Out of nowhere.
What a goofball. Why are you kneeling down like that? If the pit bulls get back in there, they're going to have such easy access to that worthless, nasty mutt again. These nutters, they're just so thirsty for attention. They love causing scenes. They love causing chaos. Why don't you go back to your apartment? Why don't you get your own raggedy mutt out of the area? No, you just want to sit there and continue the chaos. So annoying. Imagine if you were on your way to work and you had to deal with these idiots. Some goofball in the hallway with 2 pit bulls, not knowing what to do, walking in circles like an idiot. These are just problematic people. They are a nuisance.
Screaming, traumatized Diane huddled in her building on Sunday, protecting her 3-year-old Calypso, whose head, she said, had been in the mouth of one of the pit bulls.
Out of nowhere.
You see that idiot? What are you doing? One dog outside off leash. He got one. What are you doing, idiot? Imagine if you had to get through here to get to your car to go to work. And imagine if you decided to protect yourself. You'd have to walk in this hallway, let loose on that dog, and then possibly the other one. Just get these people out of here, man. They should not be allowed in apartment complexes. Any of them.
Out of nowhere, two pit bulls grabbed Calypso in the foyer. I saw the owners jump on the dog that had Calypso's head was in the jaws of the dog.
Diane says her vet bill is $2,300 and that for the past year, the same two pit bulls have killed one dog named Denim, mauled Milo in May, and then most recently attacked Calypso on Sunday. Calypso is covered with bites, had to have stitches. Her left eye is swollen and cut.
I really don't care about these small, worthless mutts. If they were large, they'd do the same thing as these other large dogs are doing. Not only that, they still attack other small targets. No sympathy for any of these violent, bloodthirsty mutants.
Shoulder dislocated. And this is Denim. LaToya Nunn's dog was killed.
That worthless, bloodthirsty, violent mutt as well. Nobody cared you put a little ribbon in its fur or a shirt on it.
She says by the same two pit bulls.
And these dogs came out of nowhere, unleashed, and attacked my dog.
You know that these small dogs are magnets for dogs like pit bulls, Nutter. You all could do the community a favor and just not have any of these things, period. And we wouldn't have to deal with y'all's chaos.
She didn't do anything to cause them to come to her. They caught her off guard, both of us. And one had her in the mouth and the other one had her from the back. She died.
Milo's owner says that in May, that vet bill was $2,000.
He got bit about 4 times, the worst one being on his neck right here. And he had to be on heavy medications.
This is the vestibule where Calypso was attacked this weekend. And then they also have video of the owner of the pit bulls punching his own dogs after the attack.
This attack on the pit bulls themselves is upsetting to them as dog lovers as well.
He's abusive. These dogs need to come out of his possession. I feel sorry for the dog.
What you gonna do? Give the dogs a bunch of kisses? And guess what? You still own aggressive, bloodthirsty dogs. What are you talking about? Talking like you got the solution. Yeah, he hits his dogs. And they're still violent. You raising them with kisses and hugs, they're going to still be violent. Don't give me this nonsense about how it's the owner's fault. No, it's the dog's fault. They are the ones carrying out these crimes. They're the ones that's a lethal threat, that possess deranged, inbred, mutated brains. And if you remove the dogs themselves, problem solved. I don't want to hear nothing about you owners being better owners.
The building management company, ELH Management, sent us the following statement about their tenant, the man with the pit bulls. Quote,
that idiot. Why are you just standing there in that hallway like that, fool? Why don't you get out of here? Go back to your car or something. There could be people who need to get through there. These people are so brain dead. And if they didn't have dogs, if it was illegal for them to have dogs, their brain deadness wouldn't affect other people. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to hear this nonsense about how it's the owner's fault. No, remove the dogs and problem solved. He would be forced to express how dumb he is in some other way. You understand what I'm saying? Give me this nonsense about how it's the owner's fault. That's another way of saying that the dogs are not the problem and that removing them is not an option. Get out of here.
Following statement about their tenant, the man with the pit bulls. Quote, the safety and well-being of our residents and their pets are our top priorities. We have initiated...
No, it's not. If it was, you wouldn't allow people to own them. Period. No, the people's safety are not your top priorities. If you're telling people it's okay for you to own them, you're saying, with having a rule like that, you're saying that the dog's presence are more important than people's safety from those dogs. Because it's going to require somebody to be attacked for these dogs to be removed. And even when that happens, you just remove those individual dogs. No matter how long or how many times these things launch attacks, you're going to deal with it case by case basis, and they never get around to saying that nobody can have dogs in these apartment complexes. You're part of the problem. All you landlords, management organizations, you're part of the problem because you're all a bunch of nutters yourselves.
We have initiated legal proceedings against the tenant and are taking this matter very seriously, close quotes. The dog owners want their thousands of dollars in vet bills reimbursed. And
They're all so goofy. Spending thousands of dollars on vet bills for worthless trash. These things ain't worth 2 pennies. Y'all get them from a shelter for like what, $25? That's why they're there. They know y'all goofballs gonna spend all kind of money on these worthless turds. That's why it's a crime. This therapy dog culture is a crime. This was uploaded 6 days
Kids in our
ago.
borough are getting some very special classmates this fall, 4-legged ones. Therapy dogs are visiting South Bronx Early College Academy to help the kids there build confidence, empathy, and social emotional skills. News 12 got a closer look.
Listen to how they're taking everything a step further. I bet many of you have never even heard of the things that she just mentioned. And they're saying that dogs provide this simply by rubbing on them. Yeah, they're trying to advance this therapy dog propaganda. Still trying to groom the youth to view these things as harmless, like a bunch of idiots. This is what's depressing. Dealing with grown people who do stuff like this. These things are nonstop mutilating these youngsters, unaliving them. And y'all continue to try to desensitize them and get them to look at these mutant killers as harmless? You idiots. You're a bunch of degenerates.
Therapy dogs are visiting South Bronx Early College Academy to help the kids there build confidence, empathy, and social emotional skills. News 12 got a closer look at how these canine companions are making a big impact in the classroom.
Okay. Lily. Sit.
Michaela Ortiz is learning with dogs.
These dogs are here to comfort us in our zone and to be able to calm ourselves down.
This is what I'm saying. There's no way I would send my kids to a public school to have them in the care of these disgusting imbeciles. These degenerate lowlives. They cannot wait to expose your kids to dogs.
In situations like arguing, fighting, and you want to get that all rid of.
Listen, coaching them to tell lies, to lie for the dogs. How sick is this?
South Bronx Early College Academy is putting the spotlight on therapy dogs. A Fair Shake for Youth brings in these dogs.
This is crazy. This age demographic is constantly being attacked by these mutts, these same types of dogs. And these degenerates are allowed to come in and have your kids rub on them. Shouldn't be allowed to bring them in there at all. Why do dog lovers get so much authority and freedom? Why? At other people's expense. Why do they get to force these things on the other people, on the young people who really don't have a say in the matter? These people are sick.
Music for Youth brings in these dogs and blends hands-on work with them with themes like communication and trust on a weekly basis.
Walking.
No, you don't trust these things at all. These things don't teach trust. What are you talking about? Lord.
Michaela sees Leslie and Jasper, and she thinks to herself, oh my god, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen. What happens next?
Spin. Good girl.
Did you hear that? They cut that part off. What happens next? She's teaching the students to ask the owner for permission to rub on them. So this therapy dog campaign that they have, just like I said, it's not about providing therapy for the kids in class. It's about teaching them to go out in the real world and rub on dogs. She just exposed it right then and there. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? These people are degenerates. You are sick. Why would you endanger them like that? They're trying to maximize the possibility that they get attacked by dogs.
Herself, oh my god, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen. What happens next?
What happens next? The student will say, ask the owner for permission. Not even a month ago, I shared stories about youngsters asking dog owners for permission to pet their dog, getting permission only to be attacked by those same dogs that were on a leash. So these adults, they can't even justify the teaching of getting permission from owners. It has been proven time and time again to not keep them safe. You idiots. But like I said, they want these attacks to happen.
Spin. Good girl.
These
So
communications
stupid. The dog simply followed the food. You spun the food around its head and it followed it. Was that supposed to be some type of trick? Get out of here.
Good girl.
These communication tools support classroom and personal growth, but good luck trying to keep these dogs away from these kids.
His favorite thing to come and hang out with you guys.
Disgusting. It's getting cold, exposing them to all types of germs. Don't be surprised if several of them are sick, contaminating the classroom with all types of germs, bacteria, dander everywhere. This is disgusting and immoral. And this is what is depressing about dog culture. It's sick.
I am getting a dog. Would you like to know what breed I'm going to get?
Well,
no, I don't. You nutters are disgusting people. Your character is disgusting. This is one of those same blue heeler mutts that tore up that 9-year-old's face. Y'all see that? She's bringing that same type of dog into the school and telling them, hey, come rub on it. You disgusting degenerate. You idiot. Irrefutable that you're dumb. You are not intelligent at all.
I picked up a book on dogs, looked to my favorite breed, which is Australian Shepherds, and it says they make great therapy dogs. So I said, I'm going to do that. And that's where it started.
I love Lola because...
Get your airheaded, brainless dog nutter. God, these people make me sick. I'm not even going to show that. I'm not even going to show this sick nonsense. The same dog that just ripped that girl's face apart. Look at what and this was uploaded 5 days ago.
Blair Taylor schools have a few extra staff members walking around on 4 legs this year. They're bringing big smiles to students and bringing some wagging tails. News 8 Now's Seth Padilla is in the newsroom to introduce us to the 4-legged therapists.
Good morning, Alexandra. Blair Taylor's official mascot is the Wildcat, but spend a couple minutes in the school and you will see why 4 other furry friends have the heart of those students.
The grass line.
Say hello to Winston. He's new to Miss Kowalski's kindergarten class, but all
kindergartners. And they got a large dog. This uploaded 6 days ago. You can't make this up. They got the students almost riding the dog like a horse. Look at that. These people are sick. Hugging the dog, putting their face in the dog's face. They're grooming them, teaching them to do this. These people are sick. It's irrefutable that these people are degenerates and sick people. Wow.
Becoming one of the most popular kids in the school, and it's easy to see why.
He's fluffy.
And why you think he might serve as a distraction in the classroom.
Ugh, I don't see how anybody could possibly send their youngster to a public school. I understand. They're all dog lovers. That's why you're doing it. Y'all a bunch of nutters, dumb nutters yourselves. Unbelievable. Like, who do you think you are to force dogs on the people like this? What is wrong with you, first of all? What is with this obsession, this drive, this desire of yours to do that anyway? What is up with that? Just a bunch of degenerate weirdos. God. Oh, it is too much. It is too much. Shout out to Dave C., who's been a member of the channel for 29 months. I can't with this, people. I can't. And I need to end this live now. These people, I can feel the stress already. I feel my neck getting tense. It is time to end this live stream. Keep you and your family away from dogs. I don't care who or what the situation. If they have dogs there, avoid that area. And be on the lookout for some videos. I recently did some more recordings. These nutters are plumb out of their minds. I'm going to keep my foot on y'all's neck for as long as I breathe. I hope you all are able to join me on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.